Hey Taurus, so I started your video over because it was becoming jumbled, and meditating before I started this seemed like you have a lot going on. Okay, astrologically you have a lot going on, but I didn't have to look at your astrology to feel that. So I'm Jaylynn I read for you intuitively, and we'll talk about the astrology as we go. So the first thing I want to say is, astrologically, you do have a lot going on, and this full moon coming up on the 5th in Leo, all of that is going to be added to your home life. Your home life will be added to all that going on. So that could be positive or negative, depending on what you got going on. Okay, we have the 5 of Cups and Lovers. Okay, February will be very personal for you, if I haven't said that already. Another note, please balance your throat chakra. Okay, there's a lot that you're not saying, there's a lot that you're not communicating, or not in an effective way. This could be in your love life based on these cards, but I'm guessing it's in a lot of areas other than that. Okay, we have the Emperor on the bottom. It's Aquarius season, and for you Taurus risings, this is 10th house stuff. So the Sun and Saturn in your 10th house, your reputation, okay, things that you're known for, are being looked at in a different light. Okay, you've been undergoing all these changes for the past year with Uranus and the North Node in your sign. And so a lot of the changes you're making now, don't let them feel forced, but they probably feel forced. Because you're fixed earth. And change comes easier to some signs than others. Okay, this could also be your friend groups. The people you are surrounding yourself with. There's just this underlying tone of sadness to some of what you're going through. And what I'm getting is you might, I don't want to say a mask, but you might have some version of yourself that's just ready, you know, for like social interactions. On the bottom, we have the Fool. So you're wanting like a fresh start. And I think the sadness that you're holding on to is sort of a block. I also think it's natural. When you undergo any change, there's always some sort of, you know, emotional tie to it. And to not let that seep into the goodness of the future is really important. Okay, it's one thing to have memories, and another to let those memories just sort of regurgitate themselves into your current reality. Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Like I said, I feel like this is February's energy is affecting a lot of important areas in your life. Money might be pretty good now that Mars has been direct in your 2nd house. Okay, you might have a lot of good things going, and you're like, why do I feel this way when I have all these good things going? I think there is that natural, I think it's just natural. There might be some underlying grief that you do need to cleanse or talk to someone about. But then on the bottom of the deck, we have the 5 of Swords. So when I say y'all's energy is sort of like from one extreme to the next, I don't know if I said that in the previous video or this one, but I was definitely getting that meditating with you. And it's like, how do I tell you to be stable through all these changes that are going on? Okay, you're typically stable, and so it's weird for someone else to tell you to like stabilize. But under these changes, I think you're going to have to adopt a deeper faith. Okay, we have the Ace of Wands. Some of these issues, if you want to call them issues, some of these matters really need your involvement, okay? They need your initiative. Okay, some of your relationships, some of your work ideas. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this Ace of Wands. Because that's like an action card, right? And so we have the Queen of Wands. So you may find yourself, okay, and this keeps showing up on the bottom, right? This Five of Swords. So what I want to tell you is you're finding a new level of responsibility for things that happen in your life, even if it's not fair. Okay, and why do people say that, like, you know, spiritual people gaslight people into thinking like everything is their fault? But no, this is how it is. Okay, when you accept responsibility for everything that happens in your life, it's not that, let me say what it is. When you accept responsibility, you accept your power. Okay, you're not finding power in waiting for someone else to apologize. Okay, you're putting your power in their hands because you need them to do something in order for you to move on with your life. You need someone else to change so that you can be who you're meant to be, and you can, and it doesn't have anything to do with them. It does. I'm not insensitive to that. But if we're going, I didn't tell you in your first reading that I scrapped because it was jumbled. It was like Knight of Swords, Empress, and the King of Swords, okay? What I'm seeing is you going to this place, you know, where you're mentally good and you're good and you're spiritually good and you're aligned, and then somebody pulls you out of that, or reality snaps you out of that in some way. And yeah, it's natural to bite or you know, like show your horns and all that if somebody's coming at you. But what you give your energy to is really magnetic. It's very much why things either perpetuate, you know, you're in control of the momentum. You give something. You're not in control of other people. It doesn't matter how logical you are, how emotional you might be, how fair or unfair it is. Let me go back to this. I see you taking responsibility for things and really having like some positive rewards from it. Because responsibility is power, you know? And like I said, there's no power in, oh, I need this thing to happen outside of me for me to be this person that I dream of being, that I would be, you know, not even worried about if I were aligned. Okay, and the King of Wands. So we have the King and the Queen of Wands. You're very magnetic. And then we have the Tower on the bottom. You're very magnetic. And I feel like if you are in a relationship with someone, they are a really good match for you. There might be some things that are breaking down in order to be rebuilt a better way, you know, evolve. But also if you're single, then I definitely see someone complimentary coming in for you. But what this Tower tells me is, are you waiting for bad things to happen before you make changes? Are you waiting for something big to happen to be like, oh, I knew that was going to happen, now I'm going to do this? Because that's not just, it's just not where your power is right now. And honestly, when if you know something's like a tower moment is coming and you don't prepare and act accordingly, you know, stabilize your nervous system. And not that tower moments are always negative, okay? They're needed and they happen to everyone. But again, when you're like king of queen of wands energy and the ace of wands and the queen of pentacles, your manifesting skills are really high. And it's important that you take responsibility for that, okay? And I'm not saying things don't happen, but this one extreme to the next is such a difficult energy to channel sometimes, okay? The Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords. If you want this fresh start, this new beginning, this new, better, upgraded chapter for yourself, you're really gonna have to get a grip on what you're allowing yourself to daydream about and what you're allowing come out of your mouth. And I'm gonna talk to you like you talk to everyone else. Okay, just straight up. Okay, the way you communicate with people is important. And it's very telling of how it must be to be in your mind day to day, okay? Lighten a little bit. I think journaling and speaking your truth, okay, to someone trusted or to a therapist or, you know, just something, you know, somebody impersonal where it's not going to come back and bite you type of energy. Getting that stuff off your chest will lighten your heart and your mind. You know, it's very important. Practice meditation. Let's talk about, before we go, I want to talk more about this full moon because you already know you have a lot going on. Okay, there's a lot changing. So this full moon, it's touching your 4th house. Okay, let me shuffle. What about this full moon? We have the 6 of Swords. Okay. Knowing what to entertain. We have the Judgment on the bottom. Knowing what to entertain, using your discernment and not waiting until something happens and being like, look, I knew this was going to happen. Didn't I say that was going to? Don't wait. Okay, use your intuition and your discernment and stop worrying about so much about the conversations around it and more about the conversations you're holding with yourself that feed into, you know, narratives that don't serve you. Okay, there's a lot of clarity coming. I do see a lot of good things coming for you, given, you know, the astrology is respected for you this month. Yep, it's all coming together. If you want to go deeper than this, because I know this reading, again, I think clear your throat chakra, it really is just one extreme to the next. So do some breath work, okay, especially around the 5th. Find some peace. I want one more card. I just feel like I need one more. This full moon, I mean, it'll be intense, but I think the biggest thing is don't let your ego cause any regression on all the work that you've made, okay? The ego will destroy things that you worked really hard to achieve, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things in February. But if you want to go deeper, get a personal reading, my website's below, and I do mini, full, and love readings, so all my links are down there. And thank you. I hope this was well received. See you next month.